Hey guys, it's Becky with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited today to talk to you about sublimating on white glitter heat transfer vinyl. So the reason you would want to sublimate on white glitter heat transfer vinyl is the fact that it opens up the door for you to sublimate on things that are not polyester. For example, this is a 100% cotton shirt, and I'm able to still use it and apply a design even though I wanted to use sublimation for this beautiful full color effect. It's also really awesome that I can do full color, because you might think, hey, I could do that with print and cut or regular sublimation, but I get a glitter background, and we're going to take a closer look at that too, because it is just so awesome. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get started, but be prepared to think a little bit outside the box, because this definitely has some unorthodox tips and tricks, and hopefully you enjoyed as much as we do.
Okay, so here we are in Silhouette Studio, and I have imported my PNG image for sublimation. So what that means is if I were to print this straight from Silhouette Studio, that would be fine. But if I tried to cut my outline, then what I'm going to run into is, even if I turn my cut lines on, all I get is my box. Okay, so I'm going to trace it. So I selected the trace panel, and I'm just going to draw my box around the entire sunflower. Now what I want to do, because I have some issues with what it's picking up, I'm going to decrease my scale, and I want to increase my threshold. Now increasing the threshold will affect how much of the design is filled in, and you want to keep going until it's filled in completely, or at least most completely. So just hit trace. Now I'm going to use a cheat. I'm going to use my duplicate cheat. I'm going to use Control and left on my keyboard. That allows me to remove the image without messing up my alignment. So what I like to do, I like to have a thin white border around my sublimation designs when I'm sublimating on white glitter. So I'm also going to add an offset. So what that does, it just gives me this nice little border around my entire design. And I'll just back that off to the 0.1. And I'll hit apply. Now I can simply delete the inside line. Now remember, I was talking about using the duplicate so that it didn't mess up my alignment. With that selected, with my sunflower selected, I can just duplicate again to the right-hand side, and it keeps my whole design lined up. Now, if I go over to the send panel, if I turn off the line for my sunflower, you can see it would just cut around the outside, which is exactly what we want. Now, this is not going to be a print and cut image, so we don't have to worry about that, but we do need to mirror them. You know, we need to mirror them before we cut, and also mirror before we print. I will send this both to cut on my Silhouette and to print on my sublimation printer, and then we'll reconvene over with the Easy Press and show you the best way to get this to line up for your project. Okay, so here we go. I cut the outline that we created in Silhouette Studio, cut that from white iridescent glitter. This is the white rainbow, and it's just different from white because it has different shades of glitter in there. So that's what I have for my HTV. This is my print. Of course, I trimmed it real close just because I wanted to conserve that paper right there for another project. So just to let you know what we got going on. Then I have a Teflon sheet. Now, normally we wouldn't use Teflon sheets for sublimation, but in this case, we're going to use it for a little bit of a different purpose. And this needs to be a dedicated Teflon sheet. This isn't the Teflon sheet that you're going to use for normal vinyl. You're going to keep this one separate, and you'll understand why in just a minute. So the first thing I'm going to do is set my print aside, and I'm going to peel the sunflower off of this carrier sheet, okay, because we need to sublimate on the glitter side. So it may take just a minute, but you want to work your way. You know, I don't want to rip into it. So I want to get these petals started, and then I'll be able to just pull as one big piece off of this backing. So once you get about halfway, that's when you should just be able to peel the rest of it off. Now you can discard the carrier sheets, and this is what I have, my piece of heat transfer vinyl. Now it's time to grab my print, and I also have this Easy Tack spray. What I'm going to do, let's pop the top, and I'm going to hold my sheet out and give it a nice layer of this adhesive. Normally I don't spray that thick for sublimation, but for this case I do because I want it to adhere properly. So now I just have to line up where I had that. Let's see. Try to look for distinguishing areas like this petal. And then you can just lay this down. You do want to make sure that all the pieces are lining up as best you can. But to double check yourself, you'll be able to hold this up to the light and see how you did. And I think I have a pretty good border all the way around. So now what we're going to do with our HTV on the bottom, make sure it's nice and smooth. You're actually going to lay this right on your Teflon sheet. Okay, so HTV on the bottom, print on top. Go ahead and cover it with a piece of butcher paper. Now I'm going to heat this at 400 degrees for 60 seconds. I'm using my Easy Press because sublimation doesn't take that much pressure, so this works really well. So I removed the Easy Press, so let's see. I'm going to remove my butcher paper. And for the big reveal, there we go. So isn't that awesome? All right, so I'm going to allow this to cool, and then I'm going to come back and we will finish our shirt. So while that's cooling just the last little bit, I'm going to slide it off to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and get my shirt set up. I'm going to fold it in half. And I do want to make sure that I don't have any major creases and that I've lined it up down the middle fairly evenly. So this is going to serve as our pre-press, and it's also going to give us some nice pressing lines. So you want to fold it first down the middle like we did, and now we're going to fold right underneath the underarm seam. Okay, so with our pre-press done, let's go ahead and pull out our sunflower. All right, sunflower is nice and cool. So now, similar to the way that you did when you were first weeding it, you're going to start with the petals and just work your way around. Now you can save that Teflon sheet for the next time. So I'm going to arrange it how I need it. Now remember, this line is not to be your center. Well, this line is, but this line is just to be a guide for putting this on straight. Luckily, this design, other than it being center, you can switch around however you need to. So once it's centered, smooth it down. All right, we're going to grab another sheet of butcher paper, place it right over top. Now this is applying heat transfer vinyl, so we do need to make sure that we get the pressure going, and we do not have to press. We do not have to press for 60 seconds. All right, and there we go. It is now officially on my shirt.
So, what did you think? I mean, I really love being able to sublimate on white glitter heat transfer vinyl, and I think that the finish that you get just makes it so much more appealing because naturally I love everything glitter, right? I mean, just glitter all the things. That's my motto. So, being able to mix heat transfer vinyl and sublimation and those tricks that help me to get my proper alignment and still get really good colors. I could not think of an easier process to be able to make these kind of shirts. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we do have really awesome tutorials planned for you coming up. And if you have any questions or video requests or anything along those lines, we love to hear from you. We are very responsive to our comments. So go ahead and leave those comments below. Give us a thumbs up. We'll keep bringing on all the crafty fun. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.